What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Middle Child Podcast with your host, Royal Bowes. And I am so happy to have y'all back again for another round of life, entertainment, love, and fun. As always, you are loved here, you are appreciated here, and most of all, you are seen here. I have another guest that I cannot wait for you guys to meet. This woman is a philanthropist, entrepreneur, author, speaker, non-profit guru. Without further ado, I want to introduce you to Miss Ashley Monique. How are you?
I am great, and thank you for having me today.
It's a pleasure. I know we talked about bringing you on my podcast when I had one like a long time ago.
Right.
But now that I'm in this aura, I wanted to bring you on now. So I like to ask my guests, if you could describe your life in one word right now, what would it be?
If I had to describe this life of mine in one word, I would say it's in a major transition.
Okay.
And not necessarily a bad transition.
Yeah.
But it's a huge transition.
Uh-huh.
And it's like from previous experiences in life, like I know when a change need to be made.
Yeah.
You know, I started to get the feeling a little uncomfortable here, something not working out over there. And I was like, oh, okay, that next transition needs to happen, that change, that major change needs to happen. So that's why I said that.
Nice. Do you always know what the change is or what
Girl,
era
no.
it needs to be in?
Girl, no, never. Like, I had to pray, get a couple signs here and there.
Yeah.
You know, I had to see God, all kind of stuff. But no, girl. And, you know, sometimes I may have like a tidbit of info on maybe I need to go right and not left. But,
Yeah.
girl, I just be out here living day to day, child.
Really?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what's up. Okay, so guys, what y'all are going to discover is this conversation literally can go everywhere. When I say Ashley is a non-profit entrepreneur guru, since I've known her for I don't know how many years it's been. I feel like it ain't been that many. Transition definitely is that. But I've seen you just open up so many businesses, help so many people, write so many books. So let's start with the beginning. How did you know that this was, I guess, the lane of life you're supposed to be in?
Girl, that's a whole story. Let me try to break it down really slow. So actually, I did not know what lane I wanted to go in. I literally never planned on going to college or anything like that. I remember like literally graduating from high school, not applying to one school, and my mom was like, "Girl, get up." It was probably like 2 months after graduation. She's like, "Girl, get up. I'm about to enroll you in college." And I'm like, "What? I just graduated from school." She was like, "I want you to go to college." And it's not the norm for my mom's side of the family to go to school. So when I went to college, you know, you have to declare a major. I didn't for 2 years because I didn't know anything I wanted to do. And I remember getting a call from advising. And the lady said, "Hey, Ashley, you've taken all of your basic courses and you cannot take anything else until you figure out what it is you want to do with your, you know, educational career or time frame in school," which was my quote unquote major. And I was like, okay. So I remember going to the counseling center and I was kind of taken back and went in and spoke with one of the counselors. I'm like, "I just got this call. I have to figure out what I want to do and I don't know." And he said, I literally remember sitting on his sofa and looking out the window when I was talking to him. And he was like, "Well, what do you like to do?" And I stopped, looked out the window, and I was like, "Help people." And you know, that's basic. That's too general. So he was like, "I think you should try social work." And I was like, "What is social work?" He said, "Research it. If you like it and you enroll, got an opportunity for you." And that is what started my journey.
Oh, nice.
I literally researched it. I enrolled in the courses, and his opportunity for me was working at a local nonprofit organization because he was on the board. So when I started at that nonprofit organization, it opened up a passion for me that was like none other. Like, I already feel like, I like helping people, but I didn't know what magnitude I wanted, or what stretch I was willing to go. But when I started at that nonprofit organization, then I moved up to the state level for grant funding.
Yeah.
Then I was like, I got this experience on the workforce side, like getting out in the field, grinding for programs, grinding for participants. And then I got the side of the administrative side, working with the department that was funding these organizations. I was like, oh yeah, it's time for me to start my own now.
And then you started your own.
And then I started my own.
Okay, that's nice. So from there, because I also know that you're an author. Did the writing come first, or was it?
No, the nonprofit came first. So I started the nonprofit in 18.
Okay.
I wrote the first book in 19.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was close.
Okay. So what brought about writing a book?
So I actually was kind of like going through a major transition, not good, here go this transition word again in my life. And I'm the type of person, like, if I have to experience something, if I can give you some tools or share some type of tips or facts or info so that you won't have to go through the same thing I did or experience some of the hardship or pain that I had to endure, I'm going to do that. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to help you. So I got the revelation that I needed to actually write books. And I'm like, what kind of books I need to write, And then I got to thinking, oh my God, like, I need to put this information that it took for me to overcome these traumatic situations. But then I started thinking, dang, I got to tell what my traumatic situations were. So it was just like, it was like a back and forth thing, but the uncomfortable. I started to get very uncomfortable because I had overcome a lot of traumatic situations.
Yeah.
And it was almost like at that point, I'm like, okay, Ashley, you being selfish now. Like, even if I shared my story with just one person and that one person was healed or was able to take the tips that I utilized to grow and overcome and do the same thing, even though I hate to say my job is done from one person, like, I want it to be done from multiple people being able to overcome. But at that point, I started to get uncomfortable again. The Lord started to bring it to my mindset all the time. And I'm like, bro, I don't even, I be talking to the Lord like that. I'm like, bro, I don't even like to read. Like, hey, why am I writing books? But it came to a point where he would share different things with me. Like, I had no knowledge on how to write a book. Didn't know where to start. Didn't know what genre I could, I didn't even know the different genres of books. So I would like start going to bookstores and I would like start getting these, like visions of what I wanted the book to look like. So when I would go in the bookstores, I would go to that section. I was like, okay, I look on the back of the book. Okay, this company published this book. And so I started calling around, reaching out, and that's how I actually found my first publishing company to publish my book. So with that, I kind of started getting into knowledge because, I have several books. It was actually a series. And when I started getting additional knowledge, I figured out, I can publish a book through my business.
Yeah.
And then I did that. And then Shatara put me up on some tea, and I started publishing through her people.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, so I've published, out of all 5 books, I've published them 3 different ways.
Nice. Okay, so I want to touch on, I think, 2 different things. But first, guys, I have to give a shout out to my girl, Shatara, Thai Talks. Y'all probably saw that episode last week. Maybe it's next week. I get confused. Operation managers he's responsible for that. But she's the one that introduced me and Ashley to each other. So shout out to Ty. Also, it's so interesting that God always reveals a lot in that uncomfortable, vulnerable position.
Do that now.
Like because you said you were like, You was like, all right, cool. I dealt with my stuff, but the fact that I had to go out and talk to other people, it's like, because I'm struggling writing my third book right now, and it's just like, I really gotta tell people what I went through. Like, I really gotta, but I think what gives me the courage to do so is because I had that vulnerable moment with God. And I say that on almost every episode. Like, once you have that vulnerable moment with him, you become so courageous and confident on a level that's like unexplainable. So yeah, I had to hit on that. But okay, I feel like I heard this before, but you say you have a publishing company now?
No. I don't have a publishing company. No. I found a publishing company that worked with me on my two of my books.
Okay, that probably was prophetic. That might be what's next. Okay, whatever.
Girl. Baby.
All right, so you on book number what now? I mean, you never know. You the guru, so.
So I've written 5 books, and I'm working on the next book, which is gonna be a beast.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because I've never written a children's book. So going through that whole process and illustrations, and I don't know who or what I want the characters in the book to look like, and then another thing that has been difficult for me with the writing portion, you would think it's easy. Heck, you don't even have to fill the whole page, but making it simple enough for a child to understand, that's also difficult too. So preferably, everything will line up and I'll have it out by November of this year.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Why November? Are you like me where I'm strategic in my release dates? Okay.
I'm very strategic in my release dates. My last book was released on my birthday in December. So for November, that's a significant date for something that had transpired last year in my life. So I did want to honor that anniversary for that. So
Okay, nice. All right. So we talked about the author side of you and a little of the nonprofits. Could you tell us more about the nonprofits that you have under your belt at the moment?
Yes. So my nonprofit organization is called Change.
Okay.
And it's to help underprivileged families through community mobilization, community-based education, mentoring, and resources. So we have a plethora of services that we offer to cater to that mission. And we offer mentoring, tutoring. We have a food pantry, a clothing closet. We offer behavioral health prevention education. We partner with a lot of different community organizations with community events. We do a lot of mental health things. We just opened up a store in the mall called Closet Cubbies. It's actually an extension of our clothing closet, and it's catered to youth newborn to 18. They can come in and get 4 free items a month. They just have to fill out a form, show their ID. And I've gotten this question probably like 5 times in the last 2 days. Like, do you make them show this? Do you make them show that? And when I say this and that, like proof of income, a food stamp card, some type of documentation to show that you're on Section 8 or something. And no, I don't, because a lot of times people aren't truthful about their information anyway.
Yeah.
So what I do is once you fill out that form and you sign your name and you date it, and some type of way it gets back that this wasn't truthful information and it's proof, you just can't come to us anymore. And I'm just going to leave it like that, because I'm not really in the business of digging into everybody's life just to see if they're lying or not. You know, I'm in the business of helping. So if I'm able to help you and you in good faith sign that form, then hey.
Yes.
But we also have a computer lab and a barbershop. It's called Barbershop 55, and it's for seniors over the age of 55. They can come in and get free cuts as well as information on resources and behavioral health info. So we have a lot of different programs that we offer, even all the way down to re-entry into jails. And we do a lot of community outreach, and we're not opposed to starting new programs. When we see there's a need, we implement. So my nonprofit organization has been going strong since 2018. I feel like we continue to elevate from year to year. And we actually got our building in 2021, November of 2021. It's been open since January of 2023.
Okay.
And we're here now. So it's been a transition. Like, I didn't start off with a building in 2018 when we started. So it's been a transitional period, but we're here now and we're looking to grow as much as we can.
Okay. And your building is the historic landmark.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So just to give like a little small, factual moment on that. So it used to be the Winston and Pryor doctor's office.
Okay.
And it housed the first African American surgeons in Montgomery, as well as the first African American gynecologist in Montgomery. And that space was also a place where African Americans could come as a safe haven and receive health care when they couldn't go to anywhere else. And it's also located on Oak Street, which is also the historical Selma to Montgomery March Trail.
Okay.
So it's a lot of history in that location. So we really wanted to be an extension of that legacy by being able to continuously help people, not just African Americans. We want to help everyone, but that helping legacy. Yeah. So it's definitely a historical landmark, and I'm really actually still close with both of the families, the Winston and Pryor side. So it's great.
Nice. See, now y'all understand what I meant when I said the guru. I'm trying so hard to find questions to pull out from the business side, but it's just it's so much knowledge that will help people in general. So I'm gonna try to take a turn here. Let's see how far we get.
Okay.
All right. So with you being in the business of helping people just in general, we hear a lot of people helping people,
right,
and they do it from a profitable standpoint.
Right.
Was there anything, any place, anything that you saw in your life that made you want to dive deeper into that by just giving back without wanting anything in return? Or is that just, and of course I know that's your heart posture, or is that just something that you just have?
Well, it's kind of like the way I grew up. Like, I did, my mom did the best she could. Yeah. We didn't have a whole lot, but we had just enough that we needed. Yeah. Like, I remember when she moved into her first apartment, like, we didn't have any furniture. Like, we slept on a waterbed for so long. But with that being said, we still had somewhere to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So, being that, I was going through that as a younger child, I think that was the first step of the molding process for me, having to go through that. And I think, I remember when I was going through a period of my life about maybe like my early 20s, maybe like 21-ish, 22-ish. I remember questioning God, like, dang, why me? Like, why I got to go through all this stuff? Yeah. But honestly, everything I have gone through has shaped me to be the person that I am. And I don't know how he do with other people. I'm just speaking for me. But experience is the best thing for me. So I'm able to open up my mind, heart, spirit, and all these other things based off of the things that I had to go through. So that is a teacher for me. Some people, you can just talk to them and that works. But for me, I got to have a little bit of experience. Yeah. And then I really don't like anybody telling me anything about nothing they didn't go through themselves. So you can just keep that information away from me. You can tell me what statistics say and the books say, but but yes, that kind of started that molding process for, the more we got, the more she made it, the more she taught me, the more I started to thrive. It made me want that for other people. So it kind of opened up a door of, dang, I think I like to help people. Going back to that same answer I gave that counselor at the school ASU that I was going to when they told me, listen, you got to pick a major, girl. So I was like, I want to help people. And it started there. Okay. And then I started to see my environment around me. Yeah. Because honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, like, my folks giving stuff away, baby, they want some money. Yeah. So the mindset did not come from them. It literally came from what the Lord instilled in me and what he allowed me to go through. So yeah, I think without those experiences, I would not have felt how I do now. Yeah. I would not be able to do what I do now. And when I tell you I give effortlessly. Yeah. and do not look for anything in return. Like, I can literally, like, you just smile, that's enough for me. Like, and when I say God bless me like triple fold,
Yeah.
I don't even, as much as I do for free, he will give that to me times 50 back.
Yeah.
And he makes everything line up. Like, people just do not understand. Like, if you have a relationship with God and he reveals something to you beforehand and it happens just like that, girl.
It's a different type of confirmation.
It
is.
Definitely.
It's different.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's good. Because also, I think what better describes this as well is fruit. Because I don't think there's anybody I've met that has like nonprofits and I'm able to see the fruit of them still collecting and putting different components into it. So I think like the fruit of your labor actually shows, and God, he was able to trust you to steward over what he gave you. And now it's just like.
It is. And let me just give you an example. Like, when he gave me the idea to do the clothing closet and orchestrate the closet cubbies project, the extension of that, I'm like, golly, how am I gonna get the clothes?
Yeah.
How am I going to get the clothes?
Yeah.
But when I say, girl, the people, the community, the stores have poured into us to the point where I have to be like, I'm not taking no more clothes. Like, I can't take clothes this week because it's been overload. But I had to step back and be like, Lord, thank you. Because I have never in my wildest dream would think stores that I go to and spend my money would give me all that stuff. One store gave us 17 boxes of free clothes.
Wow.
Like, we get clothes like clockwork. We get, not only do we get brand new stuff, we also get gently used things from the community. And it's not like little nasty clothes. It's not like, we get name brand things that look new, and also in conjunction with our stuff that is new. Like, most of the stuff that's in the store now brand new.
Nice.
Brand new. So you know, when he reveals, he will provide.
Yeah.
And that's something that people definitely should know. Like, if the Lord really gave you that vision, he gonna make sure it works. Just like when he gave me the vision that I need to quit my job and start my own nonprofit organization. And he told me he was going to give me a building, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
For free. So all of that, like, that's why I said, when he actually reveals and it happens just like he told you it was going to happen, baby, I scream that to the rooftops.
How was that moment when he told you to quit and he would provide?
Oh, yeah, I pushed back.
Oh.
I pushed back. My mama has always told me, you never quit a job without another one.
Right.
And at that point, I had never not had more than one job. So I literally quit my good state job to go on this journey. And he told me, you better leave during this time, on this month, during this year. And I said, oh no, we can't do that. Because at that time, you know, I didn't even have a plan, girl.
Yeah.
But when I say everything happens when it's supposed to happen, because it was so crazy that uncomfortable again. One thing he do is make me uncomfortable, and I can't stand being uncomfortable. And I know it be the Lord when I'm uncomfortable for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, it got harder and harder for me to wake up and go to this job every day. And I had just won Employee of the Quarter. I had just got a good recommendation from the commissioner. My supervisor loved me. She did not ride me. I could come in there when I got ready. I left when I got ready because she knew I would do my work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when it got harder and harder for me to get up and go to that job every day, I'm like, all right, Lord, like, you doing a little too much. Like, okay, just give me. And then he said, no, leave it this time. But it was very important that I left at that time, because right after the pandemic hit. And what came for businesses when the pandemic hit? Money.
Right.
So being that I was just starting, I didn't even have anything pressing really that I lost out on. I just gained. So my business start was elevated quickly because I started applying for grants and I was getting them left and right. Now, the very first one I applied for, I did not get. I must say that. But after that, I started getting them, and I'm just like, okay, God, you know. But then also it was important that I went on ahead and left when I did because of that building situation. So it's important to move in season. So if you have any type of relationship with the Lord where you can hear him, he gives you signs, or however you communicate with the Lord, like if he tell you to move in that time frame, please do, because I did not want to. Like, I was trying to figure out, all right, he had told me to leave in September.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that don't make sense. Maybe December. Like, at least let me go to the end of the year. Girl, I pushed back on that, and he had revealed it to me right when I started the job. And let me tell you how he revealed it, though. When I went to that job, I was like, okay, I'm going to be on this job 2 years. Because I thought I was going to the FBI.
Yeah.
Like, not many people know that I was trained to be an FBI agent, and I went through that whole process. So I got all the way to the end and got stopped. So I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing now. I can't, like my whole, like I was driven. My whole point of being on that job was knowing I was leaving in 2 years, but I thought I was going to the academy or whatever. I thought I was going to Quantico. So I'm like, I'm gonna just take this job for these 2 years and then I'm gonna be out the door. But see, he had already revealed to me that it was 2 years, but it wasn't the 2 years that I was thinking.
Yeah.
It wasn't the 2 years for the FBI, but it was the 2 years for what he had planned for me. But the failure of the FBI, me being stopped at that end point, is what opened up my books, was opened up my nonprofit organization and everything I have going on now, because I didn't have plans for any of that.
Yeah.
Because I was so focused on getting in the FBI.
And look at that.
Yep. And it was still them 2 years. It was still those 2 years.
And I got the 2, but
listen, he told me 2 years, but it wasn't the 2 years that I thought it was going.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
2 years for another reason. So,
and we as people, we try, like he give us something and then we be like, all right, cool, yeah, it's gonna fit in this slot right here, because after this slide I got all of this other stuff, and it's just
it worked nothing like that.
nothing at all.
What they say, like, tell God your plan and
he laugh. I know he be laughing at me. He gets a giggle from me every day. Every day I wake up, I be like, all right, this how the day finna go. He be like, like, nope, not even doing it.
Right.
So that's so good. So you've always had a strong faith foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. My mom started me in the church early. She started me in the church early, but I think I literally, quote unquote, became saved around 11.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. But the church I started in was not the level of elevation that I needed.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Not down in the church or whatever, but because I had to be very strategic with my words.
Yeah.
But that elevation started during that 11 on up, because we switched churches. But yeah, I started to grow at that point, and I started to develop a relationship with the Lord from a preemie standpoint. But yeah, she started me early in the church, but I think that 11-ish, 12-ish is when I really started.
Yeah.
So yeah, my relationship with the Lord is definitely strong. And don't get me wrong, it ain't like I'm holier than thou, because I still do stuff make me mad. I might, but still, I'm growing, and I do, I am human, but at the same time, what I do value is my relationship with the Lord, and I can say that He looks out for me, and He don't play about me.
Yeah.
So, and I know He don't play about a lot of other people too, but He definitely don't play about me. I was on the phone with my friend this morning, and she was talking about, like, she was supposed to go on a trip, and her cousin stole her money because she couldn't go on a trip anymore. And I said, well, what are you gonna do? She said, nothing, because the Lord don't play about me. And I said, I know that's right. He don't play about me. So, yes,
he do not play about his children. And granted, everybody is, but when you have like that certain faith in Him, it's a different type of level.
Right.
And back to your point of like being at a church where it wasn't like necessarily that elevation, I know for sure people who are more mature in their faith can attest to that, because granted, as the church, as a body, we're an organism.
Right.
But if I am taught to be an ear and I'm really a nose, how am I effective?
Right.
Like, I have to be able to go to a church that's teaching me how to be a nose. I mean, I could be an ear all day, but if I'm not effective in that stage, then
right.
you kind of have to like move around. So that happened to me too. Like I grew up in a church where just born and raised there, but it got to a point where I was just like, this, you're not doing anything wrong. This is just not effective for me anymore. Right. And I kind of have to move on. And that's just a whole different conversation.
It is.
For a different day. Because people don't be understanding. And you just be like,
I'm
a nose. I'm not an ear.
You know, it's like,
it has nothing to do with you. I promise. It has nothing to do with you. So that's what's up. All right. So if you had to encourage your younger self, what would you say?
Girl, that's so funny you asked that, because I just posted that on social media. Like,
really?
Yesterday, I swear. And if I had to say something to my younger self, I would say it's going to be okay. Because nothing that I do now, nothing that I have gone through, I would have ever imagined it to be this way for me. Like, I really thought about this the day before yesterday, and I couldn't post it because something was going on wacky with Facebook. So every time I tried to post it, I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I actually got a chance to post it, and I'm just like, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Because the younger me is not this me. And I sometimes think about like my teachers and stuff that knew the old me.
Yeah.
Could they have even imagined this would be Ashley? Like, because I'm nothing like how I was. And a lot of that had to do with anger. Ooh. A lot of that had to do with frustration, a bit of depression, and a lot of, dang, nobody cares about me. Like, I used to think that. I really used to think nobody cared about me when I knew I had family that loved me, but when things didn't go right, you know how kids are. Like, dang, I don't have anyone. But even growing up through my teens, my early 20s, my marriage, and I got divorced, and these domestic violence issues and all of that, I would still even tell that girl it's gonna be okay.
Wow.
Because it's just the elevation that God has taken me through, and is consistently taking me through. It's just amazing. And I don't even think I know he's not even done with me yet.
Yeah, for sure.
So even when we initially started, I was like, transition, change, uncomfortable. I got to move. Something else is coming. And when you ask me, do I even know sometimes? No, I don't. But I know it's something.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people will think like, I'm a big believer in vision and plans. But sometimes you just need to hear God and allow him to reveal. A very good place for me to hear God is by running water or flowing water. Yeah. So I like to go to the beach at least maybe 2 times a year because it's very relaxing to me, and it puts my mindset on another level. So I lay out, be in a peaceful place, and I have my phone, or because I write in my notes sometimes on my phone, or I have a, like a notebook with me, because I gotta hear. Yeah, I gotta hear, and it works for me. It works. Like, and the reason why I have to go at least 2 times a year, because I be needing to hear for the next year. Yeah. Like, I need to hear for the next year. You're going to have to reveal. Like, I need to know what next year gonna look like. So I do, that works for me. So vision, great. Plan, great. But you got to hear God too. And that, and another thing I would tell the younger me is, cultivate that relationship with the Lord. Like, because I keep dawning on the fact that if it weren't for the Lord and how he revealed and molded me, I would not have, girl. Man. When I say I wouldn't be doing anything, like, no school has prepared me for what I do now. Yeah. Nothing. Like, I will say being in college has kind of cultivated me to be professional. It cultivated me to realize what resources are available out here. But nobody or no school showed me how to start a nonprofit. Nobody or no school showed me how to write that book and get it published.
Yeah.
Nobody from no school showed me how to open up that store. Like nothing. Like none of that. So the Lord had to do that coaching within me. He had to allow me to see some stuff, experience some things, hear some things, view some things, and that's how it worked for me.
So it's funny that you say water is your thing, because mine is cabin. Like, I like to be in the woods. I like it being nature, just like me and him. And I think it's also like, it started off fear driven, because I feel like when I was in nature in the middle of nowhere, I had to learn his protection, because you with the wild animals, you with everything. Yeah. So once I started to overcome that, I was able to hear from him, and it put me in a place to where now you can hear me whenever anything is in the way. Right. So it's funny that yours is water, because mine is the total opposite.
That's dope. So how long did it really take you to feel protected?
Twice by myself. Twice, because I used to go with people. But I remember him telling me, I want to say it was 2 years ago. I think it was in the middle of the year, which is why I'm doing my women's retreat in the middle of the year. But he was just like, I need you to go spend time with me. He was like, I need you. He's like, you're too far out. You can't hear me. Like, you can't do anything. And around water, I'm looking at people. I'm looking at sand, crabs, all of that. So, and then I don't like the sun. So now I just can't focus. So he's like, I need you to hear me. And so I went out in the woods and I just sat on the balcony. He said, get up and talk to me one morning. And I was on the balcony and I was just looking. I was like, okay, I'm going to see a bear like somewhere. And then once I became comfortable that second go round, he was just like, all right, now I got your ear. And so now in the midst of chaos, I can still hear him. Oh, wow. So yeah, amazing. That's mine. That's cool. I know, ain't it? Okay, but anyway, it just brought back, I almost cried for a minute. When you were saying that, I was like, dang. Now it makes sense why I go out there. So, all right. So earlier, when you were talking about like around your family, you didn't necessarily say like you didn't feel seen or didn't nobody care, but that leads me to my next question. Are you the middle child?
No, I'm the oldest.
Really? Oh my! I feel like 90% of my guests are the oldest.
I am the oldest out of my mama kids. Check this out though. I'm the oldest out of my mama's kids, my daddy's kids, and I'm the oldest grandchild on my daddy's side.
Oh wow! So you just.
I be like, man, I wish I had a big brother.
Right.
Shoot, somebody to look after me.
That makes sense for like your personality and how you're driven and stuff like that. But that's interesting. Yeah. All right. So if you could leave the people with one word today, what would it be?
If I could leave the people with one word today, I would leave them with don't give up. Even though that's like a couple words. Yeah. The concept. Don't give up. And the reason is because just because it's going like that right now, that doesn't mean it's going to stay like that.
It's not.
Please, people. It's not going to stay that way. I promise it's not.
And it don't even take as long as you would think it would take.
Right.
That be getting me.
I swear. I mean, they say things get better with time. Do you think that's true?
To a certain extent. Only because God is not a God of time.
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
But it will get better.
Yeah.
I promise. Like, some people, it takes longer.
Yeah.
But it gets better.
Yeah.
And when you're in a place that you need to be, it will get better. And when I say in a place that you need to be, because a lot of that depends on your relationship with God, your ability to hear. Maybe if you're experiencing mental health issues, you taking your medication. Yeah. But don't give up. Like, it gets better. But you have to figure out, this is the key to this though. It gets better, but you got to figure out the strategies to make it better.
Yeah. Intentionality.
Yep. You gotta figure that out, and that might take a lot of coaching, praying, fasting, pulling away from certain people, medication, like I said. But it gets better. Yeah. So I think if people have the mindset that one day it's gonna get better, that takes away a lot of heartache and pain with us dwelling on the negativity that we're surrounded around now. Because if somebody would have told me Ashley's gonna be better when I was having to fight this man, if somebody told me Ashley is gonna get better when I was married and got a divorce and I couldn't pay my bills,
Yeah.
if somebody would have told me Ashley is gonna get better when I was going through this transition, even when I quit my job and I started my business, the first 8 months were hard.
Yeah.
Like I literally went through all of my savings. I had 1 more month left to be able to live, and I was gonna be flat broke completely. And it's like the heavens opened up for me. Ashley's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. Like this past week when I had a roof leak at the building and the toilet overflowed at the store. Ashley's gonna get better.
Yeah.
So, stuff comes up, but it gets better.
Yeah. And that way you're able to build collateral with God. Because like, all right, you done did it before like 1,000 times. You gotta come through
girl, when I say the Lord, and he funny. The Lord funny.
Oh, hilarious. Hilarious.
He funny because sometimes he'll bring you back to a point you had overcame in your life. And he'll put you right back there.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, you funny.
You're right.
And he ought to be like, oh, I just want to make sure you still trust me. Girl.
Gotta love him. Gotta love him. All right. So if people are trying to reach out to you to get more information, they want to come out of store. What are ways that they can get in contact with you?
A lot of different ways. So 2 things I like to keep separate are my businesses. So Change Nonprofit Organization, if you want to reach us there, if anybody want to come out to the store, anything. So our website is changealabama.org. Our phone number is 334-245-3966. And if they want to check us out at the building, 1156 Oak Street, it's in Montgomery. If they want to check us out at the store, it's at Eastdale Mall in Montgomery. And that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Right now, we're only open on the weekends because our target is kids and they be at school during the daytime. We're actually thinking about extending those hours just a little bit at some point, especially because it's about to be the summertime.
Yeah.
The store is called Closet Cubbies. Nonprofit is called Change. The store is called Closet Cubbies. So if they want to reach me in that capacity, those are the ways to do so. If you want to reach me in my book endeavors, that is Ashley Monique. So the website for that is AshleyMonique.com. They can check me out on Facebook for Ashley Monique Robinson, or Beautiful Favor Ashley Monique. Also, as it relates to Change, if they want to reach out to us on social media, we're Change Nonprofit Organization on Facebook, and we're Change_Alabama on Instagram.
Okay, nice. So y'all have a lot of ways to reach out to get any assistance that you need, especially in the Montgomery area. If you guys, I'm going to put this out there, sponsorship, that's ways to reach out to her. Any way that you see fit, that you can assist, you can help, or you need any assistance, that she has given you so many different ways. Ashley, I want to thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure to talk to you. And guys, as always, thank you for listening to another episode of the Middle Child Podcast with your girl, Royal Bowes. And until next time, I love you. See you then.